Okay, hi. So the first place to visit is for sure New York. New York is probably one of the beautiful places in the East Coast. This is in the summer. This is the subway, as you can tell. And this is, I think, I can't remember where, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the terminals in New York. And then in a few seconds, you'll see Central Park.
Yeah, I know. I
And
saw.
Central Park is probably one of the beautifulest park in America. I've only been to California, but for sure there's a recommendation to visit Central Park. It's ginormous, it's beautiful, there's live music there, as you could tell. And it's probably, like, especially with the food, there's a Little Italy, the Little Italy section, and then here again is Central Park. New York is very lively, very cosmopolitan, very new, and for sure probably one of the best places to visit. There's probably to
You see that?
again, it's very enthusiastic. Best places to visit when it comes to the East Coast. The East Coast, again, it's very historical, and New York is one of those places where history is always made. You know, you make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. And there's me in the subway station, social distancing. There's, again, you could see the American flag colors of the Empire State Building, and this is just a few extra clips of when Biden won, and how New York was very enthusiastic and very basically patriotic that day. And I for sure recommend everyone to go here because it has a lot of character to it. It has beautiful colors. Again, as you can see glimpses of, this is the World Trade Center. It's very tall, very beautiful, very gorgeous. And there's me participating in the event, the day of the event. Yeah, there's me trotting around. You can see how, and then again, it was in the middle of the night, around 9 or 10 o'clock. And I for sure think it's probably the best place to go when it comes to my number one list and recommendation of you to go. Again, it has a lot of character to it and very much lively, very enthusiastic, and has so much personality to it when it comes to the city. You know, when you think of New York, it's very much New York is the East Coast and the East Coast is New York, whereas the West Coast is California, and even though there's like Washington State, basically New York is a must when it comes to the East Coast. And over here you see probably my favorite museum and favorite places in New York. The Met. The Met is probably has the best, besides artwork. Again, you could see here, and a lot of like history to it. Actually, a fun fact that not all of the art over there is their own. And there's one last glimpse of me in the Met, and for sure I recommend going to the Met in New York. Okay, so the second place to visit is for sure Boston. My second place, best place to visit. This is me, kind of chaotic, but you can see the beautiful skyline. I look messy, but this is also me. Probably the best thing to about Boston is how it's very old town type of vibe and historical, yet like a little bit modern twist. There's a lot of like different districts, like New York, very similar to New York in some sense, but a little bit more kind of cool in some sense, in the idea that it's very kind of much more smaller, like a smaller version of New York, I would say, like very petite and very like put together. There's me, Fran. You'll see a lot of my friends in these clips because again, she's basically with me everywhere when I go. And to be honest, probably again, like you see the Paul Revere house, and probably the best part is the Freedom Trail, as you can see right here. Freedom Trail in Boston is probably the funnest thing to do. I recommend you doing that, as it goes basically to all the beautiful historical sites in Boston. You can see, so one of the places that it did take us besides the Paul Revere is this church apparently that has historical and all the culture in it. There's Chinatown, which I think is beautiful. Again, you see the beautiful like sun. The pier is one of the probably the beautiful places, as you could tell. And another thing for sure to visit is the museums. There's one of there's actually still in the pier. This is probably one of the most just cool buildings and skyscrapers and condos I saw. But then let's go into the museums. The museums is probably the museum of I can't remember exactly. Oh, it is a museum of modern art. basically the MoMA, but like again Bostonified, and you can see me here in it. It's very cool. Again, very modern type of art. So very like when you I'm not sure anything about art, so I can't say much on it. But again, like I just love seeing art, and this is how much it inspires. And probably the best museum to go to, which will come up in a second, is Isabella Museum. It's basically this beautiful garden in the center of the museum with a ton of like beautiful artwork archived from someone named Isabella. In the museum, there's a ton of things, and again, this kind of somewhat representing how Boston is very, I would say, very lively type of town. It's not, you know, it does sleep early. Oh, another place to go for sure is Newberry Street. Newberry is where all the fashion is. It's me, friends shopping in Patagonia just because we needed an extra jacket because it's relatively cold. And again, Patagonia, what I noticed is basically like the actual like clothes of the town. I saw everyone wearing it. And this is also in Harvard, and I will say Boston is very much a university town. Everything is university type of related. Basically like there's from northeastern to like a ton of other schools, Boston College, etc., etc., Harvard, of course. And then that's my conclusion to Boston, and probably my recommendation to go there. So please go. Okay, so the last place to visit for sure is Rhode Island. In Rhode Island, basically the best places to go is Providence, which is essentially the capital of what do you call Rhode Island. So there's, to be honest, again, it's very similar to Boston, how it's essentially the very university town, so it kind of appeals to me as a college student going from Rutgers. So there's Art RISD, which is the design school over there, and Brown University. This is me eating a salad. It's a very healthy kind of type of town. Everyone seems to be athletic. We were there, everyone was kind of running and like jogging, and basically this plant-based restaurant was basically packed. It's fun because again, it's like very similar to Rutgers. It kind of has scooters, which I think is for sure a reason why you should go there. And that's my recommendation for you guys.